So, how are you and Butler holding up? Because after you weren't able to do a Puppets epic comic review of Ghostbusters, in celebration of Ghostbusters Afterlife. Well, we've been trying to get over it. I mean, we were really looking forward to doing this, but it just didn't go so well, and unfortunately, that video didn't come to be. Oh, it's okay. I'm sure the viewers can understand that. They would understand, of course. And, it's a bit of a shame that you couldn't find images of the pages, on Google. That's really a shame. Thanks, Croc. I appreciate that. I needed that.
Hey, Jack, are we gonna start the next comic book review?
Oh, yes, Butler. I'm ready.
Okay, well, what are we waiting for? Come on, let's do it.
Yes, coming. Okay. Wish me luck, Croc. We're gonna be doing tonight's Puppets Epic Comic Review. Okay. Have fun. Oh, you know we will.
Hey, Croc. You got something that can, ease off on my cough?
Did you get dust inside of you, Mordecai?
Yep, dust got in me.
Oh, well, okay. Hang in there, Croc. I'll help you.
Please.
Okay, I'm coming.
Oh,
Excuse me, viewers, while I go help Mordecai, ease off on his cough. And, yep, sit back and enjoy tonight's new Puppets Epic Comic Review. Bangarang. Spoilers. Well, you read the title. Let's get on with the show. Whoosh.
Hello, viewers, and welcome to another Puppets Epic Comic Review. And we're doing another one of these, celebrating, a movie's anniversary.
That's right. In celebration of Hook's anniversary, we are reading and reviewing the comic book adaptation of Hook.
And here it is, yep, and fun fact, when we were thinking of doing something celebrating Hook's anniversary, we thought to ourselves, could there be a comic book adaptation of the film? And wouldn't you know it, there is. Yeah. And that's what we're doing. We're reading and reviewing the comic book adaptation of Hook. And, so there you go. And before we get to it, let's talk about the movie, our thoughts on it, shall we?
I gotta say, Steven Spielberg's Hook is actually pretty good.
Yeah, we actually do like this film, even though, learning about its history and behind the scenes, it came out as a mess and what they were hoping to be, the next Wizard of Oz for a new generation.
Yeah, and fun fact, Hook was filmed on the same stages where the Wizard of Oz was shot, most notably Emerald City.
Yup. And from the beginning, Steven Spielberg had wanted to make a film adaptation of Peter Pan.
And even from the beginning, Dustin Hoffman was, planning to play the role of Captain Hook, as he wanted to do a movie for his kids.
And also, there were rumors that Michael Jackson was going to be Peter Pan, which, yeah, that would have been interesting. Yeah, but let's face it, Michael, he already played the part of the Scarecrow. Yeah, I bet you didn't know that. But let's not waste any time. Let's read and review the comic book adaptation of Hook, shall we?
Yes, let's, shall we? The cover is okay, I guess. I mean, I will say, the comic book adaptation of Hook, and, as we repeat, is very interesting. A very interesting style for this comic book adaptation of a movie.
Yes, so, the first page, there's an opening narration. I'll go ahead and read this. Once upon a time, there was a little boy who never grew up. His name was Peter Pan. Peter lived in a land just past the second star on the right called Neverland. I didn't know there was a second never in there, but never mind. Neverland was full to the brim with Indians, mermaids, fairies, lost boys, and crocodiles. We only know, say, the TikTok croc, but anyways. most of whom were Peter's friends. And oh yes, there were pirates. There also, the leader of these pirates was Captain Jess Hook. Is it James Hook or Jess Hook? Because there's only J-A-S. Never mind, let's keep reading. And a nasty villain he was. Peter, on one of his adventures, had cut off Hook's left hand and fed it to a crocodile. You may be sure that Captain Hook had never forgiven him for that. Sometimes Peter would bring boys and girls from our world to Never Never Land. Everyone had a wonderful time, but eventually every one of these children would miss their mommy and daddy and want to start the important business of growing up. You may be sure that Peter would return them to their nurseries, and just as sure that he would be off on another adventure the very next moment, because, as I have said, there once was a little boy who never grew up. Which, of course, is a hint and tease for what to expect, of what Peter Pan's been up to. We now cut to, say, model and such, and we see Peter. It says, "This is Peter banging," because of the business he's in, and this totally skips out on the opening sequence where, if you remember in the movie, the first opening sequence is with Maggie in a school play, playing the part of Wendy Angela Darling, and we see Peter, Moira, and Jack there. And this also cuts out Jack's baseball game. Yeah, pretty much. That's a total skip there. And that's a big part of the film. Yes, it is. Well, anyways, so we then come to them on an airplane, and of course, Jack, being upset with his father because he missed out on his last game of the summer, Moira telling her husband to confront and ensure and, to comfort Jack, blah, 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 and, because Jack, is not accepting his apology, and Peter saying, "I'm gonna be there next season, I promise. 6 games guaranteed." "Dad, don't promise." "Hey, my word is my bond." "Sure, junk bonds." And the look on Peter's face, is it because he couldn't believe what Jack said, or is he just terrified of the plane? I don't know. I mean, he was, but anyways. We then come to London. Big Ben, the most famous clock in the world, tolls the hour. And they arrive at the house, and we see Liza and Granny Wendy and Nana 9. No, I'm serious. That's what it says on the doghouse, Nana 9. The 9th dog named Nana. Yeah, that's pretty funny. I never noticed that before. No, me neither. And some dialogue with Granny Wendy. She says, "Mind you, there's one rule I insist be obeyed as long as you are in my house. No growing up. Stop this instant." "Sorry, too late." "Nonsense, it's never too late." "Now just what is so terribly important about your terribly important business?" "Well, I'm still doing equations and blah, blah, blah." Well, we gotta keep moving forward. So we come to the next scene where Peter enters the nursery, and I guess he's getting the chills, and I don't know, was he this close to having flashbacks or something about to remember? Because even in the movie itself, I really don't know. Yeah, me neither. We then come to Peter, who's receiving a call from Brad, and he's talking on the telephone, which in the movie, he was talking on his cell phone. And like in the movie, Jack and Maggie come in and make too much noise, and this causes Peter to go berserk and say, "Would everybody just shut up? Moira, for God's sakes, get them out of here. I'm on the phone call of my life." "Yes, Ron, go on." "Wait a second, I thought it was Brad, not Ron." Again, this is a comic book adaptation, and a few tweaks here and there. Yeah. And Moira confronting Peter, and some dialogue between her and Peter, and Moira is saying, You haven't been to 14th Kensington for 5 years. I thought it was 10 years. Anyways, even though Granny asks you to visit every year, you promised the kids real time here, and you haven't looked at them once, except to examine them or yell at them. I'm sorry about your deal. You hated the deal. I hated the deal, but I'm sorry you feel so badly. Peter, your kids love you. They want to play with you. How long do you think that lasts? We've only got a few special years with them after you're going to, causing them for little attention. Okay, never mind. Let's keep going. Then, Jack and Maggie being put to bed. Peter gives Jack his watch because he puts him in charge, and at the hospital, dedication to Granny Wendy. And when they come back, apparently, once again, they skipped this. Hook coming in and kidnapping Jack and Maggie. That was a big, intense scene right there. Because, both Toodles, Nana 9, and Granny, they sensed the presence of Hook, arriving in London. But anyways, and just like in the movie, because there's a letter, given to Peter, from Captain Hook himself. Yep, and also because, Granny, we then come to, hold on a second. I almost skipped this. Yeah, we come to Officer Phil Collins. Yeah, I had to do that joke. I mean, it is him. Yeah, Phil Collins making a cameo as the chief inspector. And, Granny telling Peter that he is Peter Pan and showing him the book, but he still doesn't believe. Tinkerbell coming in, and yeah, we'll read some of the dialogue here. Oh, it is you, it is. What great fun. Well, we'll have what great games, Peter Pan. Who? What? You're don't you remember me, Peter Pan? I am not Peter Pan. You are too. A fat old Pan, but you're still him, I can tell. And, okay, she didn't do this in the movie, she flipped him, but instead in the comic, she punches Peter, knocking him out and carries him off in a blanket. And they do not show the part where, the kissing couple on the bridge, which is George Lucas and Carrie Fisher, fun fact. Look it up. And then we come to Neverland. Peter wakes up and is hanging on Tick-Tock Croc, which was not in the movie, once again, but, it's kind of funny. I wonder if it was intended for, originally for the movie. I mean, who knows? Yeah. So that wraps up issue 1. We then come to issue 2, and, Peter just arriving at Neverland, interacts with some pirates. They attack him. They want his shoes. Tinkerbell comes in and, saves the day. And, because one of the pirates saying, Pixie Devil! Which is not in the comic, because as you can see, the pirate is saying, miserable little fairy. And Peter says, wow, you're fantastic. I can't believe what I'm, blah, never mind. But wait a second, he doesn't say the line that mentions Mighty Mouse. Don't you remember that? It's in the movie.
Are you related to Mighty Mouse?
I don't know. Maybe because of licensing, or they couldn't mention it in the comic. I really don't know. But anyways, so a little bit of talk between Peter and Tinkerbell, which was not in the movie, but maybe it was intended. But and it managed to make its way in the comic. And Peter's disguised as a pirate, a little bit different than how it is in the movie. We didn't see this. There's a banner that says, Hook versus Pan, the ultimate war. Yeah, I mean, in the movie itself, it is mentioning of a war that Hook is planning with Peter Pan. Yep, and they make, Tinkerbell says, that's the Jolly Roger, Captain Hook's home. And Mr. Smee stepping in. Why don't you read Mr. Smee as Mr. Smee, Butler? Sure, yeah. Good morning, Neverland! Here he is, the cunning kingfish, the bad barracuda, the sleaziest sleaze of the 7 seas. I give you our very own Captain James Hook. And we, of course, get the appearance of Hook. Do you want to read as Hook Butler? Yeah, sure. The puling spawn, how I despise them. You stupid flogging, sorry, parasitic sack of entrails. And Hook continues on saying, Revenge is mine. The long, long wait has not been in vain. I've baited that. I've baited the hook, and we have his children. Pan will be back, and this time I promise to hurl him off the face of this cold earth for all time and forever. That cocky boy who will pay for the I can't pronounce that. He has caused my person. And more dialogue between Peter and Tinkerbell. Let's keep going. And of course, Hook has, Jack and Maggie in the net, be raised up, and they cut out, and this is not in the comic, but in the movie, we get that cameo of Glenn Close. Yeah, I bet you didn't know, that was Glenn Close with a beard. And Peter sees Jack and Maggie, and he blows his cover, and and some dialogue here, we'll go ahead and read some of this. What am I doing? Yeah, no kidding, you totally blew it, Peter. Bring him here. You, my great and worthy opponent, but it can't be. Not this spineless, pasty codfish before me. You're not even a shadow of Peter Pan. Prepare to die. You would be Pan. I can't fight. I can't fight you. I don't know how. I just want my kids back. And I want my hand, but there are some things in life you can never have back. Smee, who is this imposter? Ha ha ha. His adoption papers, Captain. Sworn, Adfoot? I guess that's what it says. By one, to Bell, dental records, birth certificates, social security. It's all in here. It's all in order, Captain. But it can't be. Yeah, but why did he say the line where, is it you, my great and worthy opponent? That's for a little bit later after looking his medical records. For crying out loud. And so Hook is having him walk the plank for some reason. They totally left out the part where, he has him try to rescue his kids, but Peter fails, because he's afraid of heights. So instead in the comic, they just have him walk the plank. Okay. And, of course, Peter falling down in the plank, falling down in the water, I should say. And then the mermaids save him. And fun fact, because according to one of the mermaid actresses, there was supposed to be a scene where Hook asks the mermaids, about Peter, if he was rescued and such, and one of the mermaids were to spit water in Hook's face. That would have been a funny scene. Yeah, for sure. Anyways, so Peter makes his way to the island, Neverland, and he comes across, the Lost Boys. We get the appearance of Rufio. Yes, Rufio was pretty good. And, I think at first you think they're about to kill him, but no, it was just a game. And with, Rufio saying, "You're dead, jolly man. If you were the real Pan, you'd just fly right on out of here. Wouldn't you, Mon? Mon? What is that supposed to mean? I don't even know." And, he tries to fly, and Tinkerbell encouraging him, and he can't. And, Rufio is saying, "You can't fight. You can't fly. One last question. Can you crow?" And he tries to crow, okay? And, and Tinkerbell telling the Lost Boys that, he has kids, and the Lost Boys can see it's Peter, and Rufio is, doesn't want to hear it, and, "I've got Pan's sword. I'm the Pan now. You're gonna follow this drooler against Captain Hook? You must do something, Peter. Hook has my kids. They're going to die. Will you? Please help me." You said the P word. And then we come to the Jolly Roger, and that's probably one of my favorite sequences. The dialogue between Hook and Smee, and Hook feeling suicidal, because he pulls out a gun, I guess, and oh my gosh, this wasn't in the movie. We don't see it at the end with Hook's defeat. He takes off his toupee. That's what a way to spoil that, earlier in the comic. But anyways, and of course, and we see this a bit early, Hook trying to seduce Pan's kids. Now, pay attention, class. But Mommy reads to us every night because she loves us very much. Ha! Love? No. It is too stupiffy, and you into sleep so they can sit down for 3 messly minutes alone. I'm sure that's what it says. I don't know. Without your mindless, blah, blah, blah. Let's just keep going. You're a big liar. Before you were born, they could stay up all night. They could sleep till noon, drive too fast. They played all sorts of games before you were born. They were happier. No? Can't you see what you two have done? You've made your parents grow up. And the last page for issue 2, we'll go ahead and read the dialogue. They do love us. We make them really, really, really happy all the time. Dad went to her school play, didn't he? But did he call you from Zurich like he promised he would? I'm sure that's what it says. Did he use that picture frame you made for him out of popsicle sticks? I don't remember hearing that in the movie, but oh well. Jack, you look like a boy with a pluck. Tell me now, didst ever want to be a pirate, me hearty? No, just a baseball player. You can be anything you desire on my team, Jack. It's up to you. No more. Wake up, get dressed, eat your breakfast, say please, do your homework. Don't forget to brush your teeth, go to bed, and turn off the light. Sound familiar, Jack? And that's the end of issue 2.
Okay, time in. So far, because we read and reviewed issues 1 and 2, and before we get to the next 2, I gotta say that so far, they seem pretty interesting, because the art style, I guess, is fine, and, some tweaks here and there, because, the thing with, comic book adaptations of movies, there are some changes, from lines, scenes, you name it.
Yeah, but still, I think they're okay. So far I think they're okay, even though we haven't gotten to issue 3 and 4 yet. So, anyways, let's continue, shall we?
Anyways, so now we come to issue 3.
And let me tell you guys, there's a lot of differences and, changes to issue 3 that, were clearly not in the movie. Just a few that are in the film, but there are some that you'll find out as we go through this.
And also, just a heads up, we're not going to be reading that much dialogue, so let's get to it.
Well, we now come to where, the Lost Boys and Tinkerbell, they're, helping Peter trying to remember and learn to fly again. And, of course, with the bungee cord, which that was pretty funny, and he landed in that pool of colors, just like in the movie.
And, of course, we have the one and only The Never Feast for literally just one page.
Yeah, and there's one part here where Rufio causes Peter to fall, Rufio being kind of a jerk there, making him fall, and yet that's one thing that was not in the movie.
And then here's something that was, and now we come to something that really wasn't in the movie. Maggie, because, being a mother to these children that Hook is
is keeping hostage, you know? Yeah, because originally, you know, because there was supposed to be some scenes with Maggie, you know, and with, you know, her and these kids, you know, just, it would have been great, and, you know, to have more of Maggie and to know more about her character, but just, you know. And, you know, with Maggie being held captive along with the children, and apparently Hook whipping a tear and such, some dialogue between them. And then we come to the Neverland tree, where there's dialogue between Peter and Tinkerbell at night. And then the next day, more stuff that goes on that was not in the movie, like Rufio, like, being a cowboy on a pirate cannon for some reason. I don't know what he's doing. Oh, I can tell, because of his father's watch. Yes, and they make their way, I guess, to the museum of... because where Hook says, "To the museum at once." And, yep, they make their way into the museum of broken clocks, just like in the movie. Okay, that's one thing that was in the movie, but there are a few tweaks here, like... Hook is jumping and smashing a broken clock for some reason, and Hook says right here, "Care to join me, my boy?" And he says, "For being told what to do all day long. Splendid, matey." Like, what does he do? Does he, like, throw it and destroys it? Like, he in the movie, he uses a hammer, because... you know, where he said, you know, this dialogue.
"This is for never letting me blow bubbles in my chocolate milk. This is for never letting me jump on my own bed. For always making promises and breaking them. For never doing anything with me."
Well, anyways, so continuing on, just, you know, more dialogue between Hook and Jack. And we come to sword training. Yep, but this was a bit early during, you know, them trying to help Peter remember how to fly, etc. And, oh my gosh, seriously, they totally cut this out too. In the movie, there's an entire sequence where, you know, the pirates are playing baseball, and with Jack there, Peter and the Lost Boys this close to capturing Hook's hook, and Peter getting distracted and watching his son's baseball game, and that one scene where, well, that one part, I should say, where, you know, Hook says,
Hi, Jack! Hi, Jack.
Yep, and, nope, the comic decided to just completely ignore that and just go straight to, you know, Peter trying to fly. Yep, and, you know, he goes inside the hideout, you know, that, you know, and according to the movie, you know, Hook destroyed and burned down, I guess you could say, and, you know, meets up with Tinkerbell, and Peter starts to remember about his parents, and yeah, even though we don't see his father, well, technically we do, but here's a fun fact about Peter Pan's father. Okay, we do see him in the movie, and, you know, because when he was 5 years old, he returned to see his parents, but they completely forgot about him. But, in some deleted scenes, apparently Dustin Hoffman played Peter's father for some strange reason, and, you know, Peter's father looked totally like Hook, because with the mustache and the eyebrows, blah, 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 blah. But anyways, so back to the comic, and, you know, with Peter meeting Wendy Angela Darling, and for many years returning back to the house, and up to when, you know, when I said Grandy Wendy, but, you know, Wendy got older, and, you know, Peter falls in love with Moira, and his happy thought is that he wanted to be a father. And for some reason, he sees Jack and Maggie, you know, just like a daydream or something, and he remembers all, that he's Peter Pan, and he remembers how to fly. He has his happy thought. He humiliates Rufio by lifting him up in the air and dropping him, although in the actual movie itself, he cut his pants off. Yeah, that was pretty funny. And, yep, with Rufio, he says, you know,
You can fly, you can fight, you can... Because he crows, of course. And, okay, this was not in the movie, yet again. They have a campfire, and Peter is saying, "Oh, the cleverness of me! Tink? Tink?" And he goes to Tinkerbell's house. Tinkerbell, and as this is in the movie, she grows bigger. I don't think she sheds a kiss to him, but okay. And then we come to the next day, where Jack almost being a Hook, the son of Captain Hook. And then, of course, Peter stepping in, he cuts a hole, in the shape of him of the pirate's sail, and yep, and so like the battle begins, and Jack, don't you know me? And that's where it says to be concluded. That's the final page for issue 3.
And now we come to the 4th and final issue. The battle begins, and with the Lost Boys and Rufio coming in, and as just like in the movie, because with the gadgets they have with firing eggs at them and shining mirrors at them because of the sunlight, and I don't know what else, like watercolors, and potatoes, as I recall, and Peter Pan coming in to save Maggie, and a sword fight between, Rufio and Captain Hook. We'll read some of the dialogue, Well, looky, I've got Hooky. Hook, sadly, you have no future as a poet. Let us see how you are at swords. Wait, who's saying that? Because it sounds like it's coming from Hook, or is it coming from Rufio? Because look at where the words are. Never mind. And Hook says, "Come on now, you can do better than that. I'll kill you, Hook." And oops, nope. Hook kills Rufio instead. You were saying? Jeez, imagine if Hook did, if we heard that in the movie, if Hook said that. And then, this is clearly Peter shouting, "Rufio!" And, Peter comes in. Hook says, "Ripping, come back, share your secret with old Hook Diet, case. An affair with the right woman, it can do wonders to restore a man's youth." "You shut up," says Peter Pan. And some sad dialogue here, and just like in the movie, "You know what I wish?" "What?" "I wish I had a dad like you." And so Rufio dies after his last dying words, and Jack, realizing that, he's redeemed and so on, and so, like, Peter is almost about to leave, and Hook says, "Smee, come with me." "Not this time, Captain." Wow. Okay. So in the comic version, Smee just totally leaves Hook behind, but as we know in the movie, he doesn't. I mean, I guess he was about to sneak his way, but Hook stopped him. So, anyways, and so okay, we'll read this bit of dialogue here of Hook here. "You're just an overweight old man who's obsessed with work and runs and hides from his children." No, he's not. He's Peter Pan." And they're shouting, "Pan, Pan! This is all a dream. You'll wake up and be just plain Peter Banging. Just a dream." "No, Hook, this is no dream. This is very real." And, okay, we'll read this here. "The fighting in the square slows to a halt as everyone gathers to watch the duel of the century." Yes, and, it's just awesome because the bit of dialogue that Peter and Hook says in the movie, "Yes, I remember. Pan the Avenger is back. And the Hook is waiting, Peter Pan." I like that bit of dialogue there. That's pretty good. And what they say right before they start their sword fight. Yeah. Anyways, so Peter says,
Halloo! Have you been waiting long?
No, not long. My whole life.
Just you and me this time. Captain James Hook. No tricks, no hidden accomplices. Okay, I'm pretty sure that's what he says, and if I pronounce that right.
Just you and me, says Hook. And so the sword fight begins. So Peter, no, not Peter. Hook says, "Strike, Peter Pan, strike true, finish it."
I can't.
Dad, let's go home.
Oh, Daddy, can we please? He's just a mixed-up old man who needs a mother anyway.
Bless you, child. And, wait a minute, Hook didn't continue saying, after all, what would the world be like without Captain Hook? Come on, why did they leave that out? Again, because of some tweaks here and there,
Yes, I was about to say that, so... Anyways, then Peter says, I want you to go. Leave with your ship and your pirates. I never want to see your face in Never Never Land again.
You fools! Hook is Never Never Land! Wah! Help! I'm hooked! Let me go! Yep, and just like in the movie, he, okay... no, because he didn't do it himself. In the movie itself, Hook was going to strike at Peter with his hook, but then Tinkerbell caught his hook, and then Peter grabbed his arm, and then, he breaks a hole into the crocodile. And the crocodile comes to life, about to eat Hook, and, Hook is saying, "Oh, no, no!" And everybody is evacuating for some reason, and the pirates being present there. There were no pirates there to, accompanying Hook, okay? Especially, when on the Jolly Roger, it was just me and those two pirates we saw all the time. Like, they just stayed behind while, the sword fight was going on. But anyways, so, Hook's been killed and eaten by the crocodile, and we apparently see Smee on the boat with a mermaid, and Smee says, "I'm glad the captain ain't here. He hates happy endings." Yeah, no kidding. I don't see why.
"Come on, last one across the moon's a stinko pirate," says Peter, as he and Jack and Maggie make their way back to London.
We then come back to London where Jack and Maggie are outside of the window, and we'll read the dialogue here.
"Look."
"Who is that lady?"
"Shh, it's Mom. Mommy!"
"Mom!"
"Oh, my babies, my babies!" That's a bit weird. Like, okay, that was not in the movie. So, Jack and Maggie are reunited with Moira and Grandy Wendy. Peter is still outside of London and in the snow, and he's still in his Peter Pan outfit, but then when he wakes up, he's back in his, in his regular clothes, his Peter banging, blah, blah, blah.
And we get that cameo of Smee, where I suppose it's Smee. I mean, it's Bob Hoskins, but, okay, I'll read the dialogue here. "Have you been into any mischief lately, eh? Knowing you, I'd say yes."
And, Tinkerbell's, saying, her one last goodbye to Peter, and we'll go ahead and read the dialogue here. "So, Peter, you do remember the place between dreaming and awake? Neverland. Neverland. I forgot that. That's where I'll always love you, Peter Pan. That's where I'll always wait for your return. Tink, I'm home. Jack, Maggie, Moira, I'm really home." And, Tinkerbell would never say that, silly ass. Why? Just, that's not what Tinkerbell would, that's not Tinkerbell, okay? I mean, Disney nailed Tinkerbell for crying out loud, and so did the 2003 live-action version. Come on. But anyways, so now we come to the final page. Holy cow, look at what Peter's doing right here.
Okay, seriously, what's up with that? I mean, okay, there was a deleted scene where, he's outside right at the entrance to the house, but, the door's locked and he makes his way, to the back of the house, and where we see Nana, he recovers his phone, blah, 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 blah. But anyways, so everybody is reunited, and for some reason, they're all flying in the sky, circling around, holding hands, and we get we'll, read this dialogue here,
To live will be an awfully big adventure. I suppose that's Peter saying it. I mean, well, duh, he does say it in the movie. But anyways, that's the final page, and yep, issue 4 being the last comic issue for the comic book adaptation of Hook.
And with all that being said, this comic is okay.
Yeah, I agree with you, Jack. They're okay.
The art style is okay, and there are numerous changes, to all 4 comic issues. Most notably, issue 3.
Yeah, but aside from that, it is cool to see there being, comic book adaptations of the movie Hook. I think it's pretty cool, and believe me, and as we said earlier, we honestly didn't expect that, there was a comic book adaptation of Hook. And hey, perfect way to, in celebration of Hook's anniversary.
Yep, that's for sure.
And with all that being said, thank you so much for watching. Happy 30th anniversary to Hook. Come back next time / next week, where we will be reading and reviewing another comic book adaptation of a movie. And this has to do with, say, Spidey sense. Pizza time? Do you know what I'm talking about? You probably do. Stay tuned for that. And, we hope you enjoyed this. We hope you enjoyed this video.
My turn. We hope you've enjoyed. Happy 30th anniversary to Hook. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next week. Happy holidays to you all, and bye-bye!